The BJP condemns the way in which non-stop the Congress party is out to denigrate institutions. It is surprising, in fact shocking, that even ministers from the Union Cabinet come out to question, to destabilize, and to also, in a way, demoralize institutions which are constitutionally provided for. When corruption is a serious issue, and certainly corruption is going to be a very important issue in the forthcoming elections, whether to the states or the general election. And when in the government, when questioned, the Prime Minister offered to appear before the PAC or the body, whichever body would call him on this issue so that he stays above board. He volunteered to come before institutions. You have ministers coming out today to question, to demoralize, to cast aspersions, and to, in a way, undermine the authority of constitutional bodies such as the PAC, the CAG. We certainly would want to ask if the Prime Minister approves of his minister coming out and speak in such terms about bodies, I'm sure, which he respects, honors. Otherwise, he wouldn't have offered to come and speak or stand before them if necessary. The BJP condemns and in fact wonders if the government would stand by the kind of statements which some of the ministers are making, questioning the CAG, questioning the PAC. And on the basis of an official who is retired, on the basis of that official who is retired, who himself took the report to the PAC, stood to explain it, stand by what he wrote, and there were superiors in the CAG who had gone through his report and approved it. Are we saying that this person's words now are more valuable than when he signed and submitted the report? On the basis of this official, you have union ministers coming out to question constitutional bodies. Such ministers who have been earlier members of the JPC, which is looking into the 2G matter. The PAC, which looked into the 2G matter, we all know it, don't we? But there, what was the conduct of the Congress members of Parliament? They did not allow the JPC to function. They made sure that they would scuttle everything that the PAC would want to do. There you do not want to work. You do not want institutions of the Parliament which are inquiring into these matters, with every party's member being there to look into the details. Parliamentary committees are not being allowed to function, whereas you would come outside and almost as though you are ambushing, adopting a spit and run policy, hitting at institutions. The BJP condemns this, and probably because the PAC is looking at CAG's reports on Colgate, on KG Basin, on CWG, on civil aviation, and so on. So many more are, going to be looked into by the PAC. By taking this kind of an attitude towards these institutions and destabilizing them, questioning them in public, and putting the general public in a state of confusion about what is happening, is there a way in which by destabilizing the PAC, the further reports which are being looked into, the CAG-based reports on KG Basin or civil aviation, is it expected that, you'll bring in a hindrance for them to carry on with their work? What is the strategy? It's astonishing that the Congress party's Adhyaksha, Srimati Sonia Gandhi, chooses to comment when questions are being raised by on a constitutional authority who did not speak when Colgate was rampantly discussed by the Indian public, who did not speak when CWG was rampantly discussed based on Shunglukar Committee's report, who did not speak when Robert Vadra's matter was being asked. Today we hear the chief of the Congress party, the UPS chairperson, come out with comments. We'd like to hear her on Colgate, Robert Vadra, CWG, and many more. After all, there has not been a dearth for corruption in this government. Why has she remained silent all the while? And only when there is a constitutional body which is being questioned, and unfairly at that, we have her comment coming through. The BJP hopes that the chairperson of the UPA would comment on how her party is likely to handle corruption with a commitment given for Lokpal. How is she going to have institutions function if this is the way her party's own ministers are coming out to undermine them? Is this the appropriate time for commenting? And is this in support of people who are undermining institution? Mrs. Gandhi, we expect you to comment on many other things also respecting the institutions. Please do comment. The main issue, I think, which has really made the Congress worry is corruption, and they realize that it is going to play an important role in the forthcoming elections. They want to now, unfortunately, they want to now come and question institutions saying what they're saying is not right. But the irony is, they are not denying corruption. They are only bickering over the amounts. Is it 1,76,000 or is it less? Is it more? Supreme Court has cancelled the decision which they took on 2G. We all know it. 122 licenses have been cancelled. And here you have them coming and attacking institutions rather than improving on governance, rather than giving the Indian citizens a corruption-free government. Thank you.